Min used to think the world was full of indifferent people. And that pain was a privilege reserved only for him. Until one day, a coworker disappeared after a single text, "I'm fine." That's when Min realized. Every glance, every nod, every "I'm okay" could be hiding a silent battle fought to utter exhaustion. In this world, no one is truly as peaceful as they seem. Everyone smiles. But no one knows how many nights their teeth clenched tight just to keep from breaking down. Min had grown used to passing unfamiliar faces and seeing only the mask they wore. To him, someone who laughed was happy. Someone who stayed quiet was cold. The world seemed simple. Until the day it collapsed. Min's mother passed away after a sudden illness. He lived those days like a sleepwalker. Waking up to make coffee but forgetting if he'd added sugar. Going to work but forgetting the way home. The empty house swallowed every sound. Friends sent condolences, co-workers patted his shoulder. But to Min, it all felt hollow. They had no idea how much strength it took for him not to break down in the middle of a meeting. From then on, Min closed himself off. He told himself that out there, no one truly understood him. Every smile, every "I'm fine" was just social ritual. He stopped being curious about other people's lives. And stopped believing anyone could genuinely care. One late night, Min stood on the balcony looking down at the street. The trail of headlights flowed like a river without feeling. He thought, maybe everyone is just rushing away from their own pain. The same way I've been running from mine. But then another thought slipped in. If everyone is running, what exactly are they running from? He didn't have the answer. And he didn't yet know that soon. The world would show him. Every person carries a battle he'd never imagined. And that his loss was just one small fragment on the vast map of hidden wounds. After months of locking himself inside his own shell, Min was forced to return to the grind. A new project at work meant constant travel. And meeting all kinds of people. He expected nothing more than to finish quickly. And stay as far away from trouble as possible. On the very first day, Min worked with Lon. A coworker who was always smiling. Cracking jokes at just the right moment. He thought she must be carefree. But one late evening, Min happened to see her sitting alone in the break room. Eyes red, hands rummaging through a bag of antidepressants. When she noticed him, she simply smiled as if nothing had happened. Another time, he chatted with Uncle Tu, the bus driver who took him home every afternoon. The man was curt, his gaze always drawn into a frown. Min used to find it irritating. Until Uncle Tu casually mentioned, "I take the night shift too, just to afford medicine for my youngest in the hospital." His voice was rough, nothing like someone trying to look tough. Then there was Mai, the high school girl next door. Often skipping class to sit at the cafe downstairs. Min used to think she was just lazy. One rainy afternoon, Mai admitted she was being bullied at school. So badly she couldn't bring herself to walk through the gate. Those scattered moments pieced themselves together in Min's mind. Into an entirely different picture. No one was as peaceful as they appeared. Every smile might hide a sleepless night. Every "I'm fine" could be a strangled cry for help. Min began listening more. He didn't yet know what he was searching for. But somewhere inside him, a string had started to vibrate. It felt like standing before a half-open door. One that led to a truth he was about to be forced to face. That door opened on a morning that seemed perfectly ordinary. Min arrived at the office and waited, but Lon never showed. Then the whole team received a short email. "I'm leaving for personal reasons. Thank you, everyone. I'm fine." Just a few days ago, Lon had been joking around, telling Min she'd take him to try a new restaurant. Now her desk was empty. Even the cat face mug was gone. No one knew the details. There were only whispers. Minh stayed silent. He remembered her red, swollen eyes in the break room. The way she smiled to hide them. And for the first time, he felt a chill run down his spine at the words, "I'm fine." Realizing it could be a wall far too high for someone to climb over. That afternoon, on his way home, Minh saw Uncle Tu asleep in the driver's seat. His face wrinkled tight even in dreams. He startled awake, apologizing for driving slowly. Minh caught the exhaustion in his eyes. The kind so deep it looked like he might collapse at any moment. All the stories he had heard, all the fragments he had seen, suddenly swirled together like a rushing current. He realized, pain was never his alone to bear. Everyone was fighting something. Sometimes a loss. Sometimes a loneliness no one else could see. That moment wasn't loud. But it was enough for Minh to see a sliver of light. Inside the cold cocoon he had built around himself. Empathy wasn't pity. It was looking at someone and knowing. There are battles you will never witness. And still choosing to stand close. If they let you. And for Minh, the word "fine" would never sound the same again. After the shock of Lan's disappearance, Minh returned to his ordinary days. The road to work was still the same. The little cafe at the alley's entrance still carried the scent of fresh morning pastries. But he moved through it all at a slower pace now. His gaze lingering longer on the faces that passed him by. At the office, Minh began speaking more. To colleagues he'd once only nodded at in passing. He listened to the janitor talk about her son studying far from home. And noticed how the quiet IT guy always carried a thermos of ginger tea for his stomach pain. When he saw Uncle Tu, Minh no longer just paid the bus fare and sat down as before. He asked about the youngest son, about his health. The driver looked surprised. Then smiled for real. It was a smile that hid nothing. Even though fatigue still clung to it. Mai was different, too. Once, seeing her huddled outside the balcony of the cafe, Minh brought her a cup of hot cocoa. He didn't say much, just placed it on the table and left. The next day, she slipped him a note. "Thank you. I'm trying to go back to school." Life didn't suddenly get lighter. Minh still had to face the empty space his mother left behind. Still had evenings that felt hollow. But instead of closing himself off, he began stepping outward. Even if only in small gestures. He understood now. Returning didn't mean going back to who he was. It meant carrying what he had seen, what he had felt. And placing it gently into the rhythm of each day. And on this new path, every glance, every "I'm fine," was a reminder that he wasn't alone. On a road filled with silent battles, Minh slowly learned to accept that life was never truly peaceful. Every day still brought bad news in the papers, tired faces on the street, and quiet evenings in his empty home. But now, the grip of loneliness no longer tightened around him the way it once did. He began building small habits. Sending a message to check in on a friend he hadn't spoken to in a while. Bringing an extra pastry from the cafe to share with the waiter. Or simply smiling at a stranger in the elevator. Those acts didn't change the world. But they made it a little easier for him, and for others, to breathe. Once, at a conference, Minh sat next to a well-put-together woman. During the break, he asked, "Are you okay?" Just 4 words. But her eyes paused for a beat before she nodded. He didn't need to know whether the answer was true or not. What mattered was that she knew. Someone was willing to listen if she ever chose to speak. Minh understood that moving on didn't mean forgetting the loss or pretending he'd never been hurt. It meant carrying the pain with him, but allowing it to make him softer, more patient. He no longer sought a life without wounds. He sought ways to walk through them alongside others. One afternoon, as the sun spilled over the street, Minh saw a young man sitting hunched over on a park bench. Instead of walking past, he stopped and gently asked, "Are you okay?" And in that moment, Minh knew he had truly begun a new journey. One of living on, not just for himself. Minh never knew what the young man in the park that day was going through. They only exchanged a few words before heading in different directions. But in that brief moment, he realized something simple yet profound. Sometimes, your presence and a single small question are enough to make someone feel they are not invisible. He understood now. This world is full of silent battles we will never fully see. Some are grieving. Some are struggling to stand back up. And some just need a hand to keep from falling. Minh kept on living. With his small habits. With eyes that knew how to pause. And with a heart no longer locked shut. And if you are reading this, remember. You don't know what battles the person in front of you is fighting. But you can choose to make their journey feel less lonely. Sometimes, the kindest thing we can do is simply be there and listen.